my friends, I'm Jalen.
And I'm Cacie.
And we're excited to introduce to you channel memberships.
So Jalen, what are channel memberships?
I'm glad you asked, Cacie. Channel memberships are something that YouTube designed for creators like us to give our fans an opportunity to support us financially so we can keep creating the great content that you love. For us, though, it goes a little bit deeper than that. See, for us, you're not just our fans, you're our family friends. And for those of you who actually sign up to be channel members, we're gonna call you Visionbearers. As you know, we have a very strong passion for what we teach here about marriage, relationships, and the blessing of God on your life, whether you're single, married, divorced, indifferent. And we have a vision of taking this all across the world to as many people as possible. And some of you have helped us do it with all of your shares, likes, comments, and everything else. But now there's a new level that's available to us. And we want to share that opportunity with you. We've created 3 tiers of monthly contributions so that it's accessible to everyone. You get perks for doing this. That's a way of us saying thank you for supporting us in this way. You're going to get access to a special badge so that when you leave comments on our channel, people know that, hey, you're one of those vision bearers. You get access to special custom emojis of our faces that you can leave as reactions to your favorite videos. There's going to be a special members only tab where we can communicate with y'all more intimately. It's going to be as close as you could get to probably being like in a group chat with us.
Or being our neighbor.
And then there'll be special behind the scenes vlogs and videos that only you guys see, as well as early access to the videos that we release on our channel.
Early access.
So if any of those perks sound like something you would like to enjoy, or if you are someone who's really passionate about this vision the same way that we are and want to be a part of spreading this gospel all over the world, then we encourage you to look into the channel memberships. You click the join button underneath any one of our videos, and it'll give you more details on the different tiers and the perks that you get with each tier and what it's going to take. For everyone that decides to sign up to be a vision bearer, that's huge. We appreciate you so much, no matter what tier you use. That means the world to us.
Hey, can you hear that? Members signing up.
Thank you for watching this video, and thank you in advance for being a vision bearer. Jalen.
And I'm Cacie.
And welcome to the summer of Jalen and Cacie. From now to July 1st, new videos every day, Monday through Friday.
Every single day.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you for tuning in. Today's topic that we're super excited about is what to do when he's not ready to commit.
Ooh, I like this one.
We actually get this question quite a bit, but did you want to hop off? I know you got a lot to say about it. You've been talking about it the past few days.
Well, actually, I don't have a lot to. Well, I do have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give you the cut and dry.
Yeah.
Version.
Yeah.
If he's not into you, or if he's like on the fence, then why are you hanging on, sis?
Yeah.
Like, just walk away.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
But
no.
that's the short version. But we gonna dial it back, and we're gonna what's the word?
Unwrap.
Unrival. That's the gym.
I said unravel.
Oh,
unravel.
Okay.
Yes. So, basically, I mean, it's pretty much that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't going to be a long one by any means. I'm not going to stretch it just to be stretching it. So if that was your question, viewer, that one's for you. But no, it's a very important one because you see it happen a lot. Basically, what you have here is a man and to be a little more specific, it's not just that he's not ready to commit and, hey, I'm just going to break up with you, but not ready to commit, but also doesn't want to let you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's holding on.
What was the question?
The question that we got was, what do you do when you're ready to move forward with a relationship, you as the woman ready to move forward, but then he doesn't want to let you go. He doesn't want to move forward, but he doesn't want to let you go either, or won't let you go. And no one has that ability to keep you from making that decision.
Yeah.
And don't ever give someone that ability to keep you from making that decision.
I think that's a very scary person to be with, to be honest with you. A person that says, oh, yeah, I'm not ready to move forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to marry you. I'm not ready to commit to marriage. But yet I want the benefits of marriage. I want to be with you. I want to have adventures with you, but I can't commit. That's a double-minded person. That's somebody who is really unstable in all their ways, and they're not trustworthy. I mean, I don't care how you want to color it. They're not trustworthy people. Like, what is the problem? Like, that whole not committing thing, something is broken and something is wrong. And that's a very volatile situation to be in, whether it's physical or emotional. It's volatile, and I wouldn't be in a situation like that.
But I think the problem is we got to define what commitment is, because in today's society, it can be so many different things. But in the context of what we teach here about marriage and doing it God's way, you get in a relationship with somebody, make it clear from the get-go, both sides, that we're doing this aiming toward marriage.
Yeah.
Now, as we get to know each other, if we determine that we're not the ones for each other, then we're going to break this off and go our separate ways. We're not going to drag each other through this necessarily. But that's something you've got to make clear. And if apparently at some point you have made it clear to him, if he's saying that he's not ready to take that step of proposing, you know, popping the question, that sort of thing. And, guys come with a lot of different reasons as to why, I'm not ready yet, I'm trying to get more money, things like that. But you've got to be able to dig through all that and just say, hey, we were clear when we started this relationship where we were and where we were going.
Well, that's kind of the problem. People are not clear.
That's true.
They get wrapped up in the emotions. They get wrapped up in, the fairy tale. They get wrapped up in the curly hair. Are girls into curly hair still? I don't know. But, they get wrapped up in this idea of somebody wanting me.
Yeah.
And for a lot of time, women feel like they can change your man. They feel like, well, he has potential. I want to give him time. I don't want to scare him off, blah, blah, blah. But all while you're giving him the goods. From your body to your money to your time to everything. Y'all sitting down, planning, whatever. And he is yet to make that commitment. And that's kind of the problem. We go all in without the commitment. And I think you just mentioned that making your intentions clear from the get-go. A lot of people don't know how to do that because we've made marriage a scary word, a curse word. We made commitment a scary curse word. So we don't want to scare people off by that. Listen, don't step to me if you're not ready to be in a lifelong married relationship with me. Then yes, there is a period of, I guess, testing the relationship, but that should only be a short amount of time. It shouldn't be we go on a date for a whole 2 years and we're gonna join our bank accounts together
Live
and
together,
live
have sex
together,
together.
have sex together, and we're gonna make some babies together. And then all of a sudden, I don't think it's gonna work out. What you mean? What you mean?
We've
Like,
been doing this whole time.
exactly, So that's kind of the problem. Instead of being front and say, hey, listen, I believe that you are the one for me, or I feel something for you, and I want to get to know you with oversight, with guidance. And, I'm not a serial dater. I really want to aim for marriage.
Yeah.
And is that what you want? Mm-hmm. And it could be a yes or no. And if they're like, well, I'm not sure. Well, okay, well, we'll talk about this when you're sure. Like people hold up their whole lives on unsure stuff. And y'all, the clock is ticking. Now, it's not about getting older in age. It's about wasting quality time. Your life is quality. Your time is quality. Why do women and men waste their quality time on people who just don't want to commit to them? Like, to me, it's a slap in the face. I'd rather for you to blow me off at the front, right off, and say, hey, well, I can't do this, versus me living 5 years with you or dating you 5 years and then talking about, I don't want you. That hurts me more. Like, what does that say about me and my character as a person?
Well, I mean, just to kind of use the business world thing, it's kind of like interning for 5 years. Like, how long does it take you to figure out that you want to take me on as a full-time employee?
Yeah.
How long before you're ready to commit? You wouldn't work a job for 5 years, and they still, we don't know if we want to push you on salary yet. We're just going to, let's just see how it goes. We're not sure if we're the right fit. But now you've got to figure that out. I'll go take my talents elsewhere.
And how long does it take you to know you want to be with somebody?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, because I see this a lot. People are in these relationships with people for years, sometimes decades, and they have yet to marry the person. And I don't want to spoil the other conversations we're going to have during this summer talks, but it's a big thing.
Well, I'll say this: there's two types of men that you could be dealing with in this scenario, and I really want to, and then how to handle it to answer the question, depending on which type of man it is. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment to talk about something that we've just launched here on the YouTube channel that we're excited about. Channel memberships. So if you look right now in the video you're watching, right beneath it, you see a subscribe button. Make sure you hit that and notification bell. If you stayed this long, then we've got something that you like, and you're going to see a lot of cool stuff over the next few days and the rest of this month.
I can hear somebody right now. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Subscribe. But there's also the join button. Okay, so that's new for us. So with that join button, you become a channel member, or as we call it, Visionbearers. And the reason we started that was so that those of you, us, our family friends who love, support us, been following us for a while, who want to take that next level of support for us, can do so. So when you become a channel member, you're basically doing a monthly subscription, and there's 3 tiers, $3 amounts. When you click that button, it'll show you the options to choose from. Each one comes with a different set of perks. So the higher levels of commitment bring a lot more levels of perks. Some of those perks include things like behind the scenes videos and vlogs. We recently did one where we were out as a family, and we went ahead and uploaded that for our Vision Bearers. You get cool badges and emojis that you can use, and even a community tab where we talk to you guys directly, more intimately, that no one else gets to be involved in. It's like a group chat with us.
Exclusive stuff. Yeah,
so you're wondering, okay, well, that sounds pretty cool. And those are things that you get out of it, but what is it doing for us, for the creators here? Well, I'm going to use different examples over these next 30 days, but one example I want to use is JCTV. I recently looked into the analytics. I didn't even tell you this. I looked at the analytics today, and since JCTV's been running, there's 8 unique subscribers that we've got just from JCTV.
Oh, wow.
From people that tuned in, watched that. It's got over 1,000 views since it's been running, and 8 subscribers came from that live stream. So that's 8 people being impacted by what we're doing, the same way you've been impacted. And so we put out money, actually, we pay for a server to run that thing so that it never goes down. And so there's other things that we want to add on to that to kind of keep that stream going and make sure that nothing ever happens, having redundancy and backup.
Basically just better, improve.
Yeah, exactly. And more content, obviously. But that costs more money to do. So if you're thinking, well, how am I contributing? That's something you'll be contributing to. The output that we put out there, you would be making that happen. So every time you see JCTV, every time you see the comments on that live stream and the subscribers that come from it and people's lives who are changed, you were a part of that by being one of our Vision Bearers. So thank you to everyone. Hit that join button if you're interested. Just get a few more details and see us more talking about that. But back to, I got something on my lip. Why you guys tell me? All right, but back to what we're talking about here. Two types of men that you could be dealing with. I'm gonna deal with the worst one first. The scrub, okay? That's why I like using that term.
The scrub.
The scrub. The profile, the scrub. So this kind of guy, it doesn't matter if you tell him up front what your intentions are and what your standards are. He's making his mission to bring your standards down because ultimately he's trying to have sex with you. That's really what the goal is. And depending, he may be trying to live off of you, mooch off of you to the point where you support him even financially, like a mother basically. And he'll end up in your house and borrowing your car and you paying for a cell phone. You see it on divorce court and stuff like that all the time, right? But that's the scrub. And so you can be upfront with him, but he's going to try to wear you down. And the reason he'll do this over a period of months, a long period of time, the reason he can afford to do this is because you're not his only target. He's got multiple targets. And as he's doing these cycles, eventually they give up, but they move from person to person. So if you've been denying him for 3 months, on the 4th month you break down and get in a relationship with him, that's cool because he's already had people on his side that he's been using this entire time, and now he wants to use you. And so that guy will never be ready to commit because he never had any intention of it. He was just trying to break down your boundaries. So if your boundary was, hey, look, I'm only going to be in a relationship with someone if we're, that I want to get married to, he's going to keep trying until he breaks that down. If your thing is, well, I'm not going to live with you unless we're married, he's going to try to break that down. If I'm not going to sex you, he's going to try to break that down. And so you're never going to get anything out of him. Identify that's the guy you're dealing with and just cut it off and say, we're done. Okay.
I think a lot, I'm sorry, but I think a lot of men don't even know they're scrubs.
Oh yeah,
because
it's an epidemic.
It's because it's just their MO. It's how they operate, and it's how they think they should. Because it's like, I got to try all of these flavors to figure out what I really want, but not realizing they're hurting people, but they also hurt themselves as well. They don't understand that they also are being affected by this negatively. This way of operating. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of men really realize that they are scrubs.
I mean, and it's just their mindset. I literally spoke to a man here in our progressive society who literally said out of his mouth, why pay for the cow when I get the milk for free?
Yeah.
When asked about why he wouldn't marry this girl he's been dating for years. And it was like, people actually still say that, you know, and he was, you know, it wasn't an older guy from the older generation. He was my generation. It was weird. But people actually think that way. The second one is a guy who is a good man. He's a good guy. And I've said this before, just because someone is a good guy or a good man doesn't mean that they are necessarily marriage material for you. Doesn't mean they're your husband. And that can be the struggle sometimes because you don't want to let this man go because a lot of women feel there's a shortage of good men. So you meet one, but he's not ready to make the commitment, but everything else about him is great. So that's why you're hanging on because you're afraid to let him go. Will you even find anyone like this again? The answer is yes. There's other people ready to make that commitment. But it's important that, again, you don't lower your boundaries and you don't lower your standards, because even if he's not a guy who's trying to go out of his way to abuse those standards and break them down, you're hurting yourself and hurting him by not sticking to what you originally said when you came into it.
And just by saying standards, get a standard.
That's true.
Most women don't really have a standard. Yeah. And here's what we hear a lot. Well, if he don't make 6 figures, if he ain't driving this, if he ain't got this, or he got to be his, boss. I ain't talking about that. You need to get God's standard of what a man ought to be or what a husband ought to be. And that's the standard that you uphold. Yeah. And then you, as a woman, need to be a wife, a standard. Shameless plug. Get my book, How to Be Single and Happy.
It's in the description of this video, actually.
It's in the description of this video. Get that book because it's going to help change your mindset on you, the standard. Because here's the thing. You only attract who you are. Yeah. And that's a fact. Now, I know a lot of times we say, well, why do I keep attracting these kind of men? How come whatever? Because you're that kind of woman. Ooh. Like, we don't want, listen, we don't want to think that about ourselves because we sometimes have an overestimated view of who we are and what we are. But the truth of the matter is, if you keep attracting these type of relationships, then it's something, you're the common denominator. Yeah. So you need to look at yourself in the mirror and really dissect yourself on that. So get the standard that God needs you to have for you, because once you become a wife, it's a barrier. It's a protector. And again, being a wife is not what you become when you stand in front of a preacher and say, I do. A wife is a mantle. It's an anointing. It's a grace that you walk in, because the Bible says he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So he's not looking for a girl, a woman, a wife. So it's a status that you reach in the presence of God, when you're in the presence of God, he's teaching you what you need to do to become a wife, you will attract a husband. Husbands are out there, just so you know. There are husbands out there that are looking for a wife. Are you a wife?
Yeah. And I want to say this about setting standards. It's kind of like having a business plan, so to speak. You know, you can't know where you're going or where you're not going to ever get somewhere if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
And your standards have less to do with this other theoretical person and more to do with you and who you are. Because if God is giving you a vision of who you are and what you're meant to be and do, you'll know when you meet somebody who matches up with that exactly. And when you think of businesses, and this is used a restaurant, you know, it's all about service, right? It's all about serving the customer, serving the client, you know, in that way. And so all of what they do is prepping themselves for and being what they need to be so they can serve that person.
Yeah.
So men and women, typically what they're doing is they're building a profile of who they want to serve them. That's the incorrect way to do it. Man, you need to be building a profile based on who you need to be serving. And woman, you need to build a profile of who you need to be serving, because two people serving each other, that makes a unified, good marriage. So just a little tidbit for you. But if you're dealing with that second guy, the good guy, you're hurting yourself and him by keeping the boundaries and standards you set and just dragging this thing along. If he's got cold feet, let him have cold feet. You can have a conversation with him and say, hey, look, I think you're great. I think we can do great things together, but it's clear that you're not ready to the next step. I'm in that position of life. I'm ready to do that. And it's not fair to you or me to pretend like this could be something other than what it is right now, because you've been clear with me. I've been clear with you. Let's call it quits. Let's take a break, whatever terminology you want to use, but you go your way and do what you got to do. I'm going to go away and do what I got to do. We're not tied to each other. We haven't crossed any of these boundaries yet. It's fine.
And that's kind of the thing. That's why it's a good thing to preserve all of the marriage stuff for marriage, and let the courting process be the courting process, and don't overstep that boundary. And just don't be afraid. You got to lose the fear of losing. You know, because like you said, that guy could be a good guy. He could have a good job. He could, you know, be pretty. He could be everything that you want, you know, potentially in a person. But he's just got this one area. You think, oh, that's just the one area but that's the biggest area. Yeah. Because trust me, if he can't commit to you as an individual, as a person, as his wife, he will have other issues in his life that he's not going to be able to commit to, and it's going to plague your relationship. And you don't need that.
And that's why it's not good to drag that out, because let's say you wear him down and he finally says yes,
he's going to regret that.
Exactly, he'll resent you for it, because in the midst of an argument, the thing that's going to continually come up is, well, I didn't want to get married anyway. You did. You pushed me into this, or you're the one who proposed and you didn't wait for me, like that. And that'll just bite you in the butt later on down the road. One thing I do want to say about doing that with the good man, the second man, and I'm not saying, be very careful what I'm about to say here, because you can't use this as a tactic. This isn't an ultimatum. It's not a tactic to manipulate a man to get him to do something that you want him to do. I'm just letting you know that there's an aspect of where this can happen. Sometimes men, we have this thing where it's time for us to take a step in life, but due to our fears, our insecurities, or, you know, things in our environment that we've seen, a lack of money, a lack of accomplishment, whatever's going on, we'll drag our feet launching into that next step. Okay. But a powerful motivator is a woman. And so sometimes what will happen is, if you have that conversation with him and say, okay, look, no pressure. I'm just going to go my separate way. You go your separate way. Sometimes after that has happened, that man will calculate and realize, okay, the benefit of this woman is greater than my fears. Because sometimes he has fears that aren't based on him trying to be a scrub. It's just he feels like he don't got enough money to support y'all. He's worried about, can he be a good husband? Different things. And he's got some insecurities. But he'll override his fears to make that commitment, because he realizes
and
you're
he will
worth
go
it.
off and develop himself to overcome those fears. But here's the key. I'm going to keep saying this. Don't give that man mixed signals by giving in and crossing those lines and boundaries and, you know, being wifey unto him without.
That'll jeopardize.
Because that'll jeopardize. Because now he's like, well, you were willing to accept me when we was doing this, doing that, doing that. I'll give you this, whatever. But now all of a sudden you want me to commit to you or whatever. And now you get this ultimatum on the table, and it's like, well, what happened? I was good enough 2 months ago. Now, so that's why you got to keep your standard. Don't cross that line. It makes it so much easier. He would have respect for you. he be able, and you have a clearer mind.
Yeah. And let me say this. I want to give an example of what happened to me. And I knew I wanted to marry you. I felt like you were the one for me. But the thing that's holding me up was, thought, like I said, fears, insecurities. And I knew I was going to talk to your father about this. And I was like, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that. He was my pastor all my life, So I was like, but we really had this conversation and say, hey, I want to marry your daughter. But I remember we were in an environment and we were actually working out at a gym because we were friends this whole time, something like that. And you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what I was thinking in my head. She had no idea. But it was this moment where I was standing on a piece of equipment and she had just kind of stood close, not on purpose. She was doing something else. But for a moment, she was very close to me. And it was just like that closeness, that gravity, my breath catch. And I looked at her and I caught. And of course, she's oblivious to all of this. And I was like, okay, I got to get this woman. Because I wanted her. And it wasn't just sexual. I mean, it was part of it. But it wasn't just sexual. But it was like, I decided in that moment, that back and forth just resolved itself. I was like, I got to have this woman. It was, no one else can have her. I want her. And I'm brave enough. I'm going to override my fear. I'm going to talk to her father because I got to have her. And that was something, but I had to come to that myself. I had to make that decision. You can't force a man to do that. And these are the stages of development a man goes through. And you may have caught a man before he's reached that point.
Yeah.
And maybe he will reach that point. But if she had been someone who, let's say she was interested in me and we had started a relationship, we didn't even start a relationship at this point, but let's say she decided and we were decided to not have boundaries. We were having sex and we were kissing and we were living together, all this kind of stuff like that. I would have never had to make that decision of development to say, this is what I'm going to be brave enough to do. This is what I'm going to be bold enough to do. I'm going to be a man and take this step. I would have been robbed of all of that. I would have robbed myself of that. And she would have robbed herself of having a man willing to develop for the sake of being her husband. Because the thing is, when a man does that before getting married, he has to continue to do that all throughout the marriage. There are key points of development that I reach while we're married where it's like, okay, it's time for me to develop again. It's time for me to rise to another level for the sake of my wife, for the sake of my children. And that man has to continue to do that. But if he's robbed of that opportunity, if he robs himself of that opportunity, then he may never get back on that track. So these are the things that are important that you may not think about when it's, okay, he's not ready to take that next step. He's not ready to take that next step, then he can not be ready on his own. You're ready, move on. God's got you. Maybe that man will come around, maybe he won't. But trust God enough to not be afraid to take that step and make that decision.
Yeah, and that's really the thing, trusting God.
Yes.
I mean, when the red flags are there, the red flags are there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, when you were at the beach and they got all kinds of flags out there and lifeguards out there, but when they blow that whistle and they tell you get out the water, you better listen. Mm-hmm. Those red flags are telling you get out the water. There's a riptide coming. There's sharks. There's something in there that's gonna harm you.
Yep.
Get out and just get out. I mean, you are worth the wait. You're worth however long it takes for you to get married. Yeah. Like we've shared our story. You know, I got married later than I thought that I would get married, but I don't feel any like I missed out on any part of my life whatsoever. I'm enjoying being married, and I knew that I had a standard, and God helped me build that standard of the kind of man that I need to be in my life. But the moment if I had lowered my standard, I would regret that right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, I promise you will regret lowering that standard because you will always have in the back of your mind wondering, what if, and he will have the same thing, what if. Please know, when you lower your standard as a woman, that man will not respect you. He will regret it. He may marry you, he may tolerate you, all that stuff, but he will not respect you the way he ought to when you lower your standard. Yeah. Because they know, like, men know what they're doing. They know that they cheating. They know they're getting over. They know they're conning their way into a situation. Yeah. And you do too. Like, women, we have ways too to con a man into being with them or being with you. We have those things, and we're going to regret that. Don't manipulate a man to be with you. Don't do that. It's going to harm you. It's going to bite you later. And it's not pretty.
You said something big there. We don't have time to get into that, but that loss of respect. Yeah. When a man loses that respect for you, that's a torturous relationship.
It's volatile. It really is. Yeah. It really, really is.
You're doing yourself to a very bad relationship once that's happened. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a tough one. But hopefully that answers the question to family friend who sent that one in, and
That was a
everyone
good
else who
one.
listened in.
That
Yeah,
was
it was a
a
very
good
good one. We got a lot of good ones coming up. We're excited to get into all of these. So tune back in tomorrow. We're going to post what time we'll go live again on tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in to the launch of the Summer of Jalen and Cacie. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Check out those channel memberships, hit the join button, and we're going to play a little clip here for you to see more about those. But thank you guys for watching. We love you so very much. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tune in tomorrow. We'll be back.
Bye.
See you guys. Hi, family friends. I'm Jalen.
And I'm Cacie.
And we're excited to introduce to you
Channel memberships. So Jalen, what are channel memberships?
I'm glad you asked, Cacie. Channel memberships are something that YouTube designed for creators like us to give our fans an opportunity to support us financially so we can keep creating great content that you love. For us, though, it goes a little bit deeper than that. See, for us, you're not just our fans, you're our family friends. And for those of you who actually sign up to be channel members, we're gonna call you Visionbearers. As you know, we have a very strong passion for what we teach here about marriage, relationships, and the blessing of God on your life, whether you're single, married, divorced, indifferent. And we have a vision of taking this all across the world to as many people as possible. And some of you have helped us do it with all of your shares, likes, comments, and everything else. But now there's a new level that's available to us, and we want to share that opportunity with you. We've created 3 tiers of monthly contributions so that it's accessible to everyone. You get perks for doing this. That's a way of us saying thank you for supporting us in this way. You're going to get access to a special badge so that when you leave comments on our channel, people know that, hey, you're one of those vision bearers. You get access to special custom emojis of our faces that you can leave as reactions to your favorite videos. There's going to be a special members only tab where we can communicate with y'all more intimately. It's going to be as close as you could get to probably being like in a group chat with us.
Or being our neighbor.
And then there'll be special behind the scenes vlogs and videos that only you guys see, as well as early access to the videos that we release on our channel.
Early access.
So if any of those perks sound like something you would like to enjoy, or if you are someone who's really passionate about this vision the same way that we are and want to be a part of spreading this gospel all over the world, then we encourage you to look into the channel memberships. You click the join button underneath any one of our videos, and it'll give you more details on the different tiers and the perks that you get with each tier and what it's going to take. For everyone that decides to sign up to be a vision bearer, that's huge. We appreciate you so much, no matter what tier you use. That means the world to us.
Hey, can you hear that? Members signing up.
Thank you for watching this video, and thank you in advance for being a vision bearer.